Michael with thethriftshopper.com, and I'm with Mark Walberg of the Antiques Roadshow.
Hi, Michael.
Howdy, howdy. So you were saying that your son buys a lot of clothes at thrift shops.
My son and his friends, you know, I've been known to hit all the thrift shops, mostly for clothes. And they're looking for, Army surplus stuff, and they look for themed, clothing for different parties and stuff they're doing. And then they've sort of just gotten into it for the fun of it. So, I've enjoyed watching him kind of go and come back with his finds. I'll give him $10 and see what he can show up with.
Yeah, Halloween, October is a great month for thrift shops. Everybody's looking for something different, and costumes are definitely a key find. So you're actually, you work with Goodwill in Southern California?
I've been on the board of Goodwill Southern California for close to 10 years, board of directors there.
Nice.
I think it's a really incredible organization in that they take people who are dependent and unemployable, and through several different ways are able to make them independent or help them become independent and employed.
Right.
But one of the things I loved about Goodwill is that they're not really a charity; they're an industry, and 98% of their working capital comes from money they've generated as opposed to donors, and a lot of that is their stores.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm really involved with Goodwill, and we open new stores all the time, and the stuff that comes through there is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
Is Goodwill Southern California, do they run shopgoodwill.com as well?
Well, Goodwill International may run that. The thing about Goodwill is that each city is its own franchise.
Right. I think there's 159.
Yeah, we do all of Southern California and all the way into, we do all of Los Angeles. We don't do Long Beach or San Diego, but we have now the Inland Empire, that's San Bernardino and Riverside and that area as well. Okay. So it's a pretty big Goodwill.
Yeah. Goodwill Southern California, I remember meeting some of the folks at a trade show in D.C., a Goodwill trade show, and it's a huge organization, huge.
Yeah.
Mario Haug, I think, is the marketing director.
I know Mario very well.
Yeah.
We're doing their golf tournament in September.
Yeah, it's interesting that there's a lot of other programs that thrift store organizations run, golf tournaments you'd mentioned, grand galas, et cetera, like that, different parties to raise money for the charities besides the retail sales.
We know Goodwill is the place you send your clothes and your stuff to, and they have these shops. But Goodwill is much more, actually the thrust of their work is bigger than what you'd see in the retail shops. That's a small portion of what they do. Most of it is programs to help all kinds of disadvantaged people find work, and then there's insourcing that we bring in, or it's actually outsourcing for other companies that secure shredding and e-waste recycling, and a lot of stuff in the modern recycling world that we're doing at Goodwill. Shrink wrap and sorting and prepping for, if Paul Mitchell has some promotion that they're going to put together these gift packages, they'll send it to us and we'll do it.
Oh wow.
But Kaiser Permanente sends all their shredding to us, and we do an incredible computer recycling business. That's not really a thrift store thing, but to the public, the retail stores are really the way into Goodwill.
Right.
And some unbelievable finds there. As a matter of fact, we have a group called GIVES, the Goodwill Volunteer Society, and they put on a ball every year, and it's a fashion show, and they model vintage clothing that they have found culled through the stores.
Right.
Wonderful turn of the century things and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been to a couple thrift store fashion shows, and they're pretty neat. It's, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This outfit was put together for $25 or whatever that might be, and then I guess they sell it at the end of the show as well.
My thrift store stuff is not clothing. If I'm going to walk through, I like to look at furniture and collectibles and Army surplus stores. I like a lot. My son is going to military college and is going to be a Navy officer, so.
Oh, really?
I buy all of my camping gear through thrift stores and surplus stores and things like that.
What actually does he want to do in the Navy?
Fly. He's a pilot.
Excellent.
So that's what he's going to be doing. But we go camping a lot, and I buy. I like to look for stuff like old Coleman stuff and old cots and sometimes old pots and pans, things like that. Some of the older camping equipment is better than the newer camping equipment.
Oh yeah.
It's a little more cumbersome. But
True. But 30 years ago, we didn't live in a disposable society. Today we do. So
Right.
many of the products you buy that are made from the 80s and before
They last.
are better quality
Yeah.
than stuff made today.
That's true.
Absolutely,
That's true.
including the clothing.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, I absolutely hear you. Some of the
Although
camping gear is
when
pretty
you go
awesome.
looking for vintage clothing, you realize how much bigger we are than the
Yeah.
people who were wearing them then.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
Yeah, that's an issue.
subject, and they've made movies out of that.
Yes.
But yeah, that's pretty cool that you're involved with the thrift industry directly through
Yeah.
Goodwill.
Yeah.
And so what are some of your great finds when it comes to knickknacks, furniture?
I can't really point to any, Michael, that I'm trying to think of what I have that I found at a thrift store that. I mean, my brother-in-law has found some great stuff. He's moved to California in 1968 and hasn't changed much since then. He's
nice.
Absolute Laurel Canyon hippie, and his favorite, wardrobe choice would be a band jacket of some sort. And so he's constantly finding these great, like high school and college drum major band jackets and top hats and bizarre stuff that you and I would maybe hang on a wall, but he actually wears as part of his everyday clothing.
Right.
So he and his daughter, who was sort of like his close pal, they come up with all kinds of stuff. Stuff that you and I would look at as kids, and they look at as purposeful clothing that they wear.
Very, very
Yeah.
cool. Very
So, I always get a kick out of things that he finds. He finds an unbelievable double-breasted, gold-braided, formal, band drum major jackets and things like that.
So I guess for him, every day is Halloween.
He and his daughter have been known to dress quite outlandishly, and every day is Halloween.
And speaking of the Antiques Roadshow, can you remember any particular finds that were found in thrift shops that were featured on the Roadshow?
I'm sorry I don't have such great stuff for you because my role on Roadshow, I don't see the stuff coming in.
Right.
Today I'm looking forward to seeing what we find.
Right.
Today's going to be really fun as we hunt, and I've got Karen Keene with me, and she's got. I joke she should write a book called The Keen Eye because she can pick
Nice.
anything. And so I'm going to get an education today, I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure
But
you will.
I can't really point to anything that I could tell you was a thrift store find that we've seen on Roadshow. This is my 6th year, and again, I don't get to see the stuff being appraised. I'm doing other stuff, so
Right.
my memories are more the people as opposed to the items. But ask me by the end of today. I think I'll have a few things to tell you.
I'll ask you tomorrow.
Yeah, very good.
Because I'll be there. I'll probably see you tomorrow.
Good.
And we'll be coming back down, and it'll be after this whole tour, so that'll
Fantastic.
be pretty interesting.
Well, nice talking to you.
Brother, it's been my pleasure. Absolutely. Thanks a
great.
lot.
Okay.
Lover's a melody